I do starts with me and the mic in a big fight. I just moved to LA, and I feel like I've been, kind of getting my bearings, like figuring my shit out, and I'm really excited to be here with all of you tonight and announce that I have reached a milestone in my career. I have haters now, which I feel like is the first step to a long and fruitful career in entertainment, And I'm really proud of myself because I feel like, all of my haters are diverse, which, shout out representation. I don't discriminate. I'm an equal opportunity hater target. But one of my favorite groups of haters are these, brown edgelords, these Indian teenage boy incels who love to tell me that, I'll never find a respectable husband, nobody's gonna want to make me their wife. To which I say, yeah, I don't know how to make saag paneer, but I do have a vast catalog of dick jokes and $32 in Postmates credits, so I think I'm a catch. But, these guys, they just, have such a bone to pick with me. Anytime I do anything, dare I say, post a picture in a bikini on Instagram, they love to comment some shit like, your parents will never be proud of you. Which, no shit, my dad has a PhD and my mom speaks 6 languages, and my viral tweets about my bowel movements got me sponsored by a bidet manufacturer. These people literally shoot water up in people's assholes for a living, and something about my content made them go, yup, that's our girl. So I don't know if my parents are proud of me, but if they're not, it's definitely not because of any way I express my sexuality. My name's Yamini, which in Sanskrit means lady of the night. So, 23 years ago, I can imagine it, in the maternity ward at the Northwestern Hospital. I just pop out of my mom's vagina, and the nurse hands me to my parents, and they're like, what a beautiful baby girl. I hope she grows up to be smart and kind and make a killing sending naughty photos of herself to horny men on the internet. I think a lot of other Indian kids kind of expect me to be repressed because, most of us are. We have sober and celibate parents. Well, not me. My dad was an alcoholic, and my mom had a stash of sex toys that I discovered when I was 13. I couldn't really tell her that I found them because then she would know that I was snooping to go through her clothes for dress up, which I'd already gotten in trouble for last week. So I just had to live with the knowledge that my mom was a freak for way longer than I should have. So I wasn't repressed, but I was in a lot of therapy. Everyone remembers their first therapist. I feel like it's a really monumental relationship in your life. And my first therapist, when I was in middle school, my parents sent me to therapy because I wasn't adjusting well. Translation, I was deep and I knew shit that nobody else did, and they were just trying to suppress me because they didn't understand. But I realized pretty quickly that this therapist was telling my parents everything I told her because, I was a minor and that was allowed, and because she had no ethical qualms, betraying my trust and ruining the entire profession of therapist for me for the rest of my life. But, as soon as I figured that shit out, I just started lying. I made up full characters, fake plot lines. I was essentially sitting on that couch writing fanfic of my own life. And now here I am years later, trying to actually do therapy because I want to be happy, and I had all that shit in childhood and I still haven't figured it out despite how much money I've paid to try to fix it. And it's hard because, it takes a while to even realize what's wrong with you, and then once you do realize, it's you're plagued by the thought of knowing you're not going to be able to get yourself there. It's emotional edging, try all you want, but the finish line's over there and you're just not crossing it. And this time you're paying out of pocket for it, which, shit. But something I did learn in therapy is that I have a bad relationship with sex. I prefer it when it's bad, because when it's good, that's just do you have a crush on me? That's kind of embarrassing. I really don't like it when people genuinely like me because, as they say, we're attracted to people like our parents, and I just was not raised that way. Don't worry, though, I don't have daddy issues. I do have, and bear with me, Simba at around 1 hour and 7 minutes into the Lion King issues. I want to be full on having sex, and this guy's on top of me and looks up at the sky and sees the image of his dead father and goes, Mufasa, are you proud of me now? And I hope that if his dead dad is looking down at him from heaven, he looks at me and he's like, yeah, son, I am. Yeah, I reached a new low recently. A guy that I slept with while I was in college got back together with his ex right after we slept together. And not only did he get back together with his ex right after we slept together, they just got married on a plantation. So I was not enough to liberate this white man from generations of colonialism. And listen, when you're a woman of color sleeping with white men, those are the stakes every single time, okay? My grandma told me when I was young that like when you're making Indian food for a white person for the first time, you can't make it too spicy. And that's because if you do, instead of finally seasoning their food for the first time, they're gonna go running back into the arms of a white supremacist whose idea of a spice cupboard is salt, pepper, and breadcrumbs. So, you're probably sitting here listening to me and you're like, oh, that girl has such terrible taste in men. Well, you're wrong. I have excellent taste in terrible men. I have a bit of a humiliation kink, and by that I don't mean that I want my partners to degrade me. I mean that like I want to be extremely degraded anytime I show up in public with them and see the looks on people's faces. Like, I want to bring the fucking weirdest bitch to the party and have all my friends be like, Yamini, we can't be seen with you here. It's really, really hard to have such excellent taste in terrible men and also be bisexual, because I feel like all these crazy stories about me sleeping with men are like the ones that I have to tell, because every interaction with women is like normal, because most women are, don't like to stereotype, but it's much more normal. So I don't have that many stories about them. So I have people who sometimes tell me that I'm not actually into women, I'm just faking it for, and I quote, Instagram activist influencer clout. And I wish that was how it worked. I wish that like putting the pink, purple, and blue hearts in my Instagram bio suddenly got me 1 million followers and like $1 million and like a mansion in the hills. But I've had to work hard for what I got. I didn't just get it handed to me because I'm bisexual, because being bisexual is basic now. Almost everyone is bisexual these days. So I've had to forge my own unique perspective, and I have to tell thousands of people about my poop. And for all of you that are interested, if you use the code LadyOfTheNight10, you can get $10 off your next bidet. So hit me up anytime. Thank you.